Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Spider, and welcome back to another review. And today we're taking a look at the Marvel Select The Avengers movie Hulk. This figure released back in 2012 and based on his appearance from the first Avengers film. Now, I usually start off my reviews by taking a look at the packaging, but I don't have it anymore, so use your trash can instead. Alrighty, enough of that, onto the figure. So we got Hulk, a bit closer to the camera so we can see better. And, man, it's been a while since I've done a Hulk review, huh? I can't remember the last one. It's been at least a year ago. Anyways, to get things started with this figure, we shall start off with the articulation. So, head is on a ball joint, so we can look a pretty good amount up. A little bit down, you get some nice side tilting. The head can't look all the way around. It kind of bumps, but that's fine. Hulk can't really do that anyway, so it doesn't really bother me much. So yeah, pretty nice movement at the head. The arms can move that far out. It's pretty good. You get, oh right, you can go all the way around. I must skip that. That would have been unfortunate. Anyways, now we can cover the bicep swivel, which is pretty tight. You do get about 90 degrees bend at the elbow, and you get a wrist swivel. And you do get a joint here, so you can get some side to side. I don't know, I think mine is just really tight, but you're supposed to be able to like get an arch and crunch out of it, but just mine just really doesn't want to move. But I have seen others be able to move quite a bit more than that. It's just mine's just really tight and stubborn. Anyways, there is no joint at the waist, but that's fine because you do get a rotation there, so it doesn't bother me. You get the legs, which can move only that far forward and only that far back, which is very limited. I don't know why. I really wish they could have made it so that the legs could go further forward than that. That's kind of ridiculous. Also, they're on nice clicky ratchet joints, so you don't have to worry about them getting too loose over time, which is nice. Legs can go out, so you actually can do a very good splits, which is interesting. It's like he can't kick forward at all, but he can do the splits just fine. Alright, that's... Ugh. And you do want to be careful when clicking the hips back in, because it does kind of, you can see if you don't do it right, kind of pulls that joint down, so you want to make sure you do it carefully so as to not accidentally break anything. Anyways, you get a thigh swivel, which is nice. You get a pretty limited bend at the knee. It's kind of disappointing. Foot can go down. It can go not really up at all. You get an ankle tilt. And I don't think, no, there is no ankle swivel, but you do get a thigh swivel, so that kind of makes up for that. And that is it for articulation on Marvel Select Hulk, and it's decent. I do wish you could get a lot more out of the legs. That is pretty limiting. I mean, you can't even get the figure into a kneeling position, which I feel like that should be bare minimum. And the fact that you can't is just... yeah, that's not fun. So, yeah, the legs do kind of hold the figure back a bit in terms of articulation. But in terms of, like, standing poses, you can get them in some pretty good... some pretty good positions. Get some pretty cool poses like that. But you can't get him, like, kneeling or anything like that, which is, again, unfortunate. Really wish he could move a bit more, but I don't envy the designers, because it is hard to make articulated, bulky figures because of the sheer bulk. It kind of gets in the way of the articulation, so... yeah, I get it. It is hard to do. I just wish they could have, made it move a little more. But anyways, I'm basically just repeating myself over and over again, so we can move on to the details. So we'll zoom on in here. I've got to bring the camera way up here. Anyways, we'll take a nice look at that Hulk face. And that's actually a really... They did an excellent job at this face. Looks fantastic. There's the brow and everything. The hair looks pretty good too, although it's a bit dusty. Ooh, should have cleaned this figure off a bit more. But anyways, you get the nice black for the hair. Get painted on brows. You get the eyes. You get this nice snarling lip. You got the teeth, which are nice and sculpted and painted. Yeah, it does have some paint chipping off his nose. So be aware of that. But yeah, this face, man, that just looks really, really good. They did a fantastic job with that. You get the pectorals. You get a little nip action there. All the veins. Some nice shading on there, which is nice. Yeah, you get more of those veins and the muscles. More veins. You got the fist, and he does have two closed fists. Painted nail. So the paint's kind of scraping off on that, or do they just not paint it all the way? Yeah, it could be a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. You get his nice abs. You get his pants, and his pants are more of a purplish brown, which isn't accurate to the final battle, but I do think that is accurate to what his pants look like when he transformed in the helicarrier. So that's cool. And that's fine that they went with the more purple look, because, I mean, Hulk and purple pants just kind of go together. So I'm perfectly fine that they went with that decision. Look at the nice torn pants. I do like that they are asymmetrical. You can see it comes more onto the knee on this leg. That is neat. You do get the legs with some blue. What the heck? Why is there a bunch of blue over that foot? I don't remember what happened there, and I forgot that was there until just now. I don't know what happened with that. And you get toenails painted as well. It's nice. At the bottom, you get some stamps and stuff. You do get some holes if you want to plug them into a stand, or plug them into a base, that is. Although I don't know what base would be enough to hold this guy up, because he's pretty big. Anyways, take a look at the back. My goodness, just look at that muscular back. Oh my, that looks fantastic. I think they really did a good job of capturing the look of his back. That's fantastic. His butt. Back of his legs. Yeah, overall, paint and sculpt-wise, this figure looks absolutely monstrous in the best way possible. They did a very, very good job with that. Yeah, I got no complaints with the paint or the sculpt on this figure. It looks so dang cool. And I think that's pretty much it. The figure didn't come with any accessories or anything, so I think we can move on to the size comparisons. So, to start things off, as always, here it is with a LEGO minifigure, which it completely dwarfs. Here it is with the Pack of Destruction minifigure Mothra, and the Pack of Destruction minifigure Godzilla. On to some more relevant size comparisons. Here it is with the Incredible Hulk Gamma Glow Hulk from 2008. Here it is with the Iron Man prototype Snap-on Armor from 2008. Here it is with the Iron Man Super Fist Smash Ironmonger, also from 2008. Here it is with the Marvel Legends Walgreens exclusive Mystique. Get an idea how it scales with 6-inch figures, and yeah, it really doesn't. He's just way too big. So unless you want a really big Hulk, it doesn't scale well with Marvel Legends, unfortunately. Next up, here it is with the Bandai Creations 12-inch Final Wars Godzilla. Get an idea how that looks. And finally, here it is with the previous review, the Transformers Legacy Elita 1. Now that we're done with all that, it's measuring time. So get this measure tape out, see just how big this big boy is. You can see he's almost 10 inches tall, about a little over 9.5. So yeah, he's a really, really big guy. So, that is pretty much it for the Marvel Select Avengers Hulk. And overall, he's pretty good. I do like him for the most part. The biggest drawback the figure has is the lack of articulation. That is kind of a pain. But other than that, he does still look really, really good. However, if you are someone who likes to mess around a lot and pose their figures, this may not be the Hulk for you. But if you are someone who just likes to take a figure, put it in a simple pose, and just set it on a shelf, this is definitely a good pick because he does have a presence to him due to how big and mean looking he is. So, yeah, that does work. And I also think this would be a pretty good Hulk figure for kids because, you know, it looks good and kids are going to care less about, the articulation or the lack thereof. And he is pretty sturdy for the most part. So, yeah, I think this would be a pretty good Hulk figure to give to, like, I don't know, like 10 or up or something like that, that kind of age range. I think this would be a pretty good Hulk figure for them. And if you did want this for yourself, it's not in stores anymore, obviously, but on eBay it's going for around $40 out of the box and like 70 brand new, which I do think is way too expensive for what you're getting because, modern Marvel Legend Hulk figures blow this out of the water in terms of articulation. So I definitely don't think this is worth $70. But if you can find it more around 30, maybe even 40 price range, sure, maybe. It's your money. Spend it however you wish. Anyways, that's really all I've got to say. Oh, wait, no. There's one more thing I wanted to say. This figure did actually get a repaint and a slight remold for the Age of Ultron toy line. So yeah, if you wanted this one, but to look more like he did in Age of Ultron, that does exist. Okay, now that's all I've got to say. Hope you all enjoyed. See you later. Sayonara. Bye.